March 3rd, 2026. Today marks a significant day, the awakening of the Tathagata, the Lord Gautama Buddha, and his enlightenment. He gathered 1,250 monks, arihats, mind you say, they were all awakening. And he gave his first sermon, his teaching, his dispensation on the third month and the first full moon, lunar year. And it's a significant day today. You see, we're on page 572 in Chapter 10. You see, right mindfulness. And today it is the essential Buddha Dhamma compiled by Somdet Prabhuta Gosacharya, English name, P.A. Payutto, translated and edited by Bruce Evans, 572 to 584, Part 1. Right mindfulness, Sammasati. Right mindfulness is the second factor in the concentration group. Its sutra's definition as follows. Bhikkhus, monks, what is right mindfulness? This is right mindfulness. A monk, a bhikkhu in this teaching and this discipline, number one, contemplates the body in the body, ardent, comprehending mindful, eliminating covetousness and grief towards the world. Two, contemplates feeling and feeling, ardent, comprehending mindful, eliminating covetousness and grief towards the world. Three, contemplates the mind in the mind, ardent, comprehending mindful, eliminating covetousness and grief towards the world. 4, contemplates dharmas and dharmas, ardent, comprehending mindful, eliminating covetousness and grief towards the world. Eliminating abhijja and domanassa. So covetousness, abhijja, grief, domanassa, towards the world. Another definition here appears in the Atidhamma from the Tipitaka, states, what is sammasati, right mindfulness? Continuous recollection, reflecting back on the sati, that is the state of recollecting. Sati in Pali language, the state of remembrance, the state of non-fading, the state of non-forgetting. That sati, that is a faculty. The sati, that is the power, the essence, the element factor of right mindfulness and the mindfulness of element enlightenment factor. That is the factor of the path, magga. That is included in the path. This is sammasati. According to the sutra definition, right mindfulness is the teaching known as the four foundation of mindfulness, satipatthana. The foundations are in brief. Number 1, kaya nupassana. Kaya nupassana. Contemplation of body, being fully aware of the body. Number 2, vedana nupassana. Contemplating a feeling, being fully aware of feelings. Number 3, citta nupassana. Contemplating of the mind, being fully aware of the mind. And 4, Dhammanupassana, contemplating on dharmas, being fully aware of dharmas. It is good to note that here, in the context of dharmas, is the law of causality, the law inherent in nature. Before examining the meaning of Samma Sati, right mindfulness, according to the four foundations of mindfulness, Sati Patana, it would be appropriate to give general explanation of the term Sati from the Pali language. Sati as heedfulness, appamata. The word sati translated most simply as recollection, to resemble. This rendering makes us think of the perspective of memory, which is correct in one sense, but it's not conveyed the fully objective of the world. For in the negative sense, sati not only means not forgetting, but also refers to the non-distraction, non-neglect, and non-confusion of fuzzing. Simply speaking, it's the mind being here and now, not going away or floating off. These negative sense points to the positive sense of care, attention, a state of readiness to cognize whatever is being dealt with and recognizing how to deal with it, which can be caring and protection. The functioning of sati is compared to the gatekeeper who watches over the people passing through the gate, allowing only the people to enter and leave as they are appropriate to enter and leave, and forbidding access and egresses to those who should not be allowed to enter or leave. Sati is thus an important quality in conduct, being the quality that governs how we carry out our activities, that protects and restrains us, neither allowing the mind to wander into evil states, nor allowing evil to infiltrate into the mind. Simply speaking, it extorts us into performing good actions and blocks off the chance of performing bad ones. The Buddha Dhamma gives great emphasis to the importance of sati in all levels of conduct. Living on or practicing under the constant control of sati is known by a specialized term, appamata, in Pali language, meaning heedfulness. Appamata is the vital factor for the progress in Buddhist system of conduct. It is usually defined as living with unbroken sati, which can be further defined as continual carefulness, not allowing oneself to slide into decline or miss the chance of development, being well aware of what should be done and what should not be done. Constantly reflecting on one's duty, not neglecting it, doing things earnestly and striving for the advancement at all times. It should be said that appamata is the Buddhist sense of responsibility. Appamata is the internal factor. Likewise, yoniso manasikara, sound reflection, analytical reflection, which is coupled with the external factor of good friend or good companion, good mentorship, kalara mitra. Sometimes in the Buddha Vasana, dealing with the importance of appamata, duplicate these dealing with wise attention. Yoniso manasikara. The reason for this is both qualities and equally important in both different ways. Yoniso manasikara, reason analysis, is a wisdom factor, a tool to be implemented in practice, to be applied. Whereas appamata is the factor of concentration, samadhi. It is that which controls and inspires the use of the tools and the advancements of the practice. The importance and extensive use of appamata in various levels of practice can be seen in the following Buddha Vasana. Bhikkhus, monks, the footprints of all kinds of land animals can be fit into the elephant's footprints. The elephant's footprints is the greatest of all terms of size. In the same way, all skillful qualities has heedfulness as a source. and all can be included within heedfulness. Heedfulness can be said to be the greatest of all those qualities. I see no other quality that is so much a cause for the arising of skillful qualities that yet unarisen, and the decline of unskillful quality already arisen as heedfulness, apamato. When there is heedfulness, skillful quality yet unarisen arise, and skillful qualities already arisen decline. I see no other quality that is for such great benefit, for the fit, firm, established, non-decline, non-disappearance of the true teaching of Sattama as apamato, heedfulness. Among internal qualities, I see no other factor that is for such great benefit as heedfulness, apamato. All things that are fabricated by determinants are subject to decline and cessation. Strive on to realize your objective with heedfulness. Just as the rising of the sun is heralded by the light of the dawn, endowment with heedfulness leads to and heralds the arising of noble eightfold path in a monk, in a bhikkhu. The prime factor of the great benefit is the rising of the noble eightfold path. In Laotian, they call it mak ong pet. It's endowed with heedfulness. I see no other quality that is such much cause for rising of the noble eightfold path as yet unarisen in the growth fulfillment of the noble eightfold path, already arisen as endowment with heedfulness, apamato. A bhikkhu, a monk who is heedful, may be expected to develop and make much of the Eight Noble Path. Bhikkhus, monks, cultivate heedfulness in the four areas. 1. Give up bodily misconduct, give bodily conduct, and be heedful therein. 2. Give up verbal misconduct, cultivate good verbal conduct, and be heedful therein. 3. Give up mental misconduct, cultivate good mental conduct, and be heedful therein. 4. Give up wrong view, miccha-titi, cultivate samma-titi, right view, and be heedful therein. When a bhikkhu, a monk, gives up wrong bodily conduct and cultivates good bodily conduct, gives up wrong view and cultivates right view, he will not be afraid even in the face of death. Bhikkhus, monks. A bhikkhu, a monk, should cultivate apamato, heedfulness, that is, govern the mind with mindfulness. These are the four areas. The first, my mind will not be attached to those qualities that incite attachment. The second, my mind will not be adverse to those qualities that incite aversion. The third, my mind will not be deluded by those qualities that incite delusion. The fourth, my mind would not be intoxicated by those qualities that incite intoxication. When a bhikkhu's mind, a monk's mind, does not attach to those qualities that incite attachment, because it is free of desire, it is not averse, not deluded, not intoxicated, does not tremble, waver, feel dread or alarm. He does not have to believe even in the words of the teacher. Your Majesty, Your Highness, the teachings well expounded by me are for those with good friends, good companions, who keep company with good people, not for those with bad friends, who keeps bad companions, or who keeps company with bad people. Having good friends is equal to the whole of one's holy life. For this reason, Your Majesty, you should reflect to yourself, I will be one with good friends, good companions, who keeps company with good people. Your Majesty, when you have good friends, you must conduct yourself with this quality, apamato, heedfulness in regard to all skillful qualities. When Your Majesty is heedful and conducts himself with heedfulness, the royal retainers, the nobles, the soldiers, the towns and the village dwellers will think, O king is heedful, conducts himself with heedfulness. We will be heedful and conduct ourselves too with heedfulness. Your Majesty, in being heedful and conducting yourself with heedfulness, Your Majesty will be protected. The royal retainers will be protected. The treasuries, the granaries will be protected. The social value of sati. In the Buddha Vasana, describing the value of sati in the Setaka Sutra is a good example of the similarity meanings and the practical value of apamato and sati, heedfulness and mindfulness. It helps to understand both of those qualities more clearly and at the same time show the attitude of the Buddha Dhamma to life in society, providing that Buddhism sees the inner personal life of each individual in relation to the outer social values and hold these two values to be inextricably connected, comparable, one and the same, not separate. Monks, bhikkhus. There was once a Arabat who stood at a bamboo pole who on his end called his apprentice, saying, "Come, my boy, climb this bamboo pole and balance yourself on my shoulders." The apprentice ascended, climbed the pole, stood, balancing there on his master's shoulder. Then the acrobat said to his apprentice, "Come, you keep an eye on me, and I will keep an eye on you. And we can keep an eye on each other, shall perform our feat, earn our fee, and come down safely from that pole." When the master had said this, the apprentice said, "Master, we cannot do that way. You, master, should keep an eye on yourself, while I should keep an eye on myself. And we each, watching over ourselves, shall perform the feat, earn our fee, and come down safely from that pole." The blessed Buddha said this was the right course of action in that case, just as the apprentice said to his master, with the thought, "I will protect myself," you must practice the foundation of mindfulness. Maintain mindfulness with the thought, "I will protect others." You must practice the foundation of mindfulness. Bhikkhus, monks, in protecting yourself, you protect others. In protecting others, you protect yourself. How does one protect others by protecting oneself? By ardent practice, by cultivation, by making such of the practice. In this way, in practicing yourself, you protect others. How does one protect oneself by practicing others or protecting others? By forbearance, khanti, by non-aggression, avihimsa, by friendliness, and by kindness and compassion. In this way, protecting others, you protect yourself. Bhikkhus, monks, with that thought, "I will protect myself." You must protect the foundation of sati, mindfulness, with the thought, "I will protect others." You must practice the foundation of mindfulness. In protecting yourself, you protect others. In protecting others, you protect yourself. The role of sati in wisdom development. Being heedful means living with unbroken sati or using sati at all times in one's life. It is the agent that makes us watchful, protects us from mistakenly falling into bad or corrupt ways, restrains and warns us against preoccupation and delusion in sukha, pleasure, stirs up out of stagnation and incites us into ardent pursuit of advancement, causes us to be heedful of our duties by considering what should be done and what should not be done, what has been done and what remains to be done, and helps to ensure that our actions are circumspect. Thus, As already stated, it is the principal factor in the Buddhist system of conduct. However, it can be said the importance of appamado, heedfulness, is the terms of conduct. It can be roughly determined as covering the area from morality, sila, to samadhi, morality to concentration. On this level, sati mostly works in conjunction with many other factors. Vayama, effort in particular, will always be involved. When our field of examination is narrowed down to the workings of the mind within the process of wisdom development or the use of wisdom for cleansing the mind, appamado, heedfulness, manifests as its instigating agent. Preliminary factor on this level, our range of investigation narrows down to the mental processes and is broken down to a discrete moment-to-moment analysis. It is on the level of that sati that performs its functions in full and comes into its own, becoming a factor with its own specific role and its own specific name. The real specific meaning of sati, mindfulness, can be gleaned from considering its function when it is in its distinct role. As in the practical or the practice as known as the four foundation of mindfulness. In this case, the function of sati can be summarized as follows. The general characteristics of functioning of all sati is not allowing the mind to wander, not allowing mental objects in Pali, aramana, to be passed by unheeded, or not allowing thinking to become distracted by these mental objects, but rather carefully watching over as it is taken note of each object and passes through awareness, deliberately focus on it. Whatever object is to be noted, sati. Fixes on that and does not allow the mind to wander. It recollects the object and does not allow it to be forgotten. So, figuratively speaking, it is just keeping your awareness on an object at its pivotal point. Constantly be aware of it at its pivotal point, knowing if it fluctuates or deviates. It recollects the object and does not allow it to be forgotten. Mindfulness, sati, is compared to the foundation post because it is firmly fixed to the object, or to the gatekeeper because it guards over different sense doors. Different sense doors, ayatana. The eye door, the nose door, the tongue door, the ear door, the body door, the mind door. So the different sense doors through which objects appear. Inspecting the objects as they arise in awareness. The approximate cause, patatana, for the arising of mindfulness are firm, sanya. Your sanya is your perception. Briefly interpreting this as it allows two factors for it to come into contact, for it to be established in cognition, for you to perceive it through feeling. But sanya, perception, is an interpretation due to various foundation of mindfulness, which can be discussed shortly. You see something. So the three doors was you see something, you smell something, and then you have a feeling. Or you hear something, you see something, and you have a feeling. You touch something, you taste it, and you have a feeling. But basically, it's going to explain it in those terms. In conduct, the functioning of sati can be seen from both the negative and positive perspective. Atitnava and asata, from the negative and the positive perspective. From the negative perspective, sati is regard, preventing the mind from distraction and error, preventing it from falling into the undesirable states, not allowing evil to arise in the mind. To be used in wrongful ways, in a positive sense, sati is the controller, inspector of the streams of cognition, thinking, and conduct so that they are all along acceptable lines. It keeps the mind with the desired object of awareness. And therefore, it is the tool for holding or fixing on the mind's object, laying it before the mind, so to speak, for examination and response. So basically, without sati, you would have mental disabilities, or likely to have mental disabilities. The importance of sati is given great emphasis in Buddhist practice, in regard to which it is said that sati is desirable. It must be utilized in all situations. It is compared to salt, which must be used in all foods, or like a prime minister who is involved in all government business. It is the quality that both constrains the mind and supports it, depending on the circumstance. When these characteristics of the functioning of sati are taken into considerations, the benefits of practice of sati can be seen as follows. The first benefit, to control the mental state by examining the cognitive and thought processes, selecting what is wanted and rejecting what is not wanted, stealing the thought process and thus facilitating the concentration of mind. The second benefit, to put the body and the mind into a state that can be said to be more independent, because they have lightness, relaxation, and well-being in themselves, and are ready to encounter, respond effectively to things in the world. The third benefit, in the concentrated mind, sati may be used to constrain, direct the cognitive thought processes to expand the scope of cognition and thought into different dimensions or into different states. The fourth benefit, to hold the object in that point of investigation to awareness, thus enabling the work of examining and investigating proceed with greater clarity, thereby acting as the foundation for development of panya, wisdom. The fifth benefit, to cleanse all facets of conduct, to cleanse physical, verbal, and mental, and to make them pure, free from the influence of desire and clinging. And together with comprehension, sampajana, to cause that conduct to proceed with wisdom or pure reason. The fourth and the fifth benefits of sati are high-level objectives. They can only be attained through special practice at the fourth foundation of mindfulness. The foundation of mindfulness as right mindfulness. Satipatthana is translated as the basis for sati, or the establishment of sati, that is, being under the control of mindfulness. In principle, it is the method of practice for putting mindfulness into the most effective use. As stated in the Buddhavasana, in the Mahasatipatthana Sutra, monks, bhikkhu, this is the supreme way for purification of beings, for the transcendence of sorrow and lamentation, for the extinguishment of suffering and grief, for the attainment of the transcendent path, for the realization of nibbita, nibbana, nirvana. That is the fourth foundation of mindfulness. The development of mindfulness is a popular and highly acclaimed method of practice. It is said to comprise both calm, samatha, and an insight investigation, vipassana development. A practitioner may develop calm, samatha, as far as the absorption of one of the four concentration meditation or the non-four meditation concentration of jhana, as well be described in the section on the eighth factor of the path, samma sati, right concentration. And then develop insight through the foundation of mindfulness to reach the goal, or develop only the initial stages of concentration, only as much as required, and reach the goal by practicing insight as the main factor of practice according to the foundation of mindfulness. Insight, vipassana, is an important part of Buddhist practice that is often heard about, but often misunderstood. Thus, it derives some clarification. The following brief examination of foundation of mindfulness may help to clarify the meaning of insight. In terms of the essential meaning, its scope, and the variation of practice, be that as it may, here it is. Not my intention to examine insights as such, but simply to convey the general idea, principle, through the foundation of sati, mindfulness. The foundation of satis are essentially as follows. Kayanupassana, examining the body, or being fully aware of the body. Anapanasati, going to a secluded place, seated across established mindfulness on the in and the out breath, in the breathing and various manifestations. Iriyapata, clearly noting each posture as it is when the body is standing, walking, sitting, lying down, reclining, or in other postures. Sampajana, developing clear comprehensions in all activities, in all moments, such as stepping, turning, heading up, heading down, stretching, laying out the hand, dressing, eating, drinking, chewing, defecating, urinating, waking, sleeping, talking and being silent. Patikula mana sikara, examining one's own body from top of the head down to the tips of the feet. 32 kan. As containing the mass of numerous unclean component parts. Datu mana sikara, examining one's own body broken down into each of the four elements. Nawasi vitika, glazing on the corpses in the 9 different states, from the flesh corpse to brittle bones, in each case turning the reflection back to oneself, that one's own body will have one day to be in that same state. Vedananupasana, being fully aware of feelings, noting clearly as they are in the present moment when feeling of pleasure, pain, or indifference arises, be it with the material-based samisa or without material-based niramisa. Sitanupasana, being fully aware of the mind, how the mind is at that time, knowing, for instance, whether the mind has desire, is without desire, has aversion, is without aversion, has delusion, is without delusion, is distracted, is concentrated, is liberated, is not yet liberated, knowing the mind clearly as it is at that certain particular time. Dhammanupasana, being fully aware of mental arisen phenomenon, dealing with causality of causes and conditions. Nitvarana, knowing clearly in each moment whether or not any of the 5 hindrances are present within oneself. How those are yet unarisen come to arise. How those already arisen are done away with. Know how those given up can be not made to arise again. Skandha, noting what are the 5 skandhas, the groups, how they arise and how they cease. Ayatana, knowing clearly the internal and external sense bases, the doors. Knowing clearly the samyojana, the fetters that arises on account of each sense base. Knowing clearly how fetters yet unarisen come to arise. Know how they are arisen done away with. know how already done away with or made not to arise again. Bo jhana, knowing clearly in the present whether each of the 7 enlightened factors, sambhojana, is there in the mind or is not. How those are yet unarisen are made to arise. How those already arisen are made to develop and come to fulfillment. Ariya Satya, knowing and understanding clearly each of the 4 noble truths. Each of the groups above contains the same passage. A bhikkhu, a monk, examines the body internally. He examines the body in the body externally, belonging to other people and belonging to himself. He examines the body in the body, both internally and externally, belonging to himself and then belonging to others. He examines the truth, satya, of the arising of the body. He examines the truth, satya, of the decline of cessation, nirodha, in the body. He examines the truth of arising and cessation in the body. And he has a clear recollection. There is the body, just as an object of awareness, and just enough for recollection, and abides, not dependent or attaching to anything in this world. This is the end of part 1. 572 to page 583. And we will pick up on part 2 on the essential meaning of the foundation of mindfulness from 584 to page 600. Buddha Dhamma, the essential Buddha Dhamma, translated and edited by Bruce Evans.